Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Need I Say Myrrh, the Christmas podcast. And today I am delighted to welcome as our special festive guest, Duncan Hollands. Hello, Duncan. How are you today?
Hello, Adam. I'm great, and thank you. It's an absolute delight and a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's good to have you. Some people may be wondering who you are, though. Who is Duncan Hollands? Can you quickly introduce yourself, who you are, where you are, what you do?
So I'm Duncan. I'm a curate in the Church of England, serving at St Pancras Church in Plymouth. I'm married to Becky, and we have four young children, sort of aged 8 and under.
And how long have you been there at St Pancras?
We've been here, this is my third year of curacy, so it's kind of 2.5 years since we moved.
And I did enjoy visiting your church recently on a Sunday when you weren't there.
Best church in Plymouth. Congratulations.
It's certainly one of the best. I haven't been to all of them, so I can't do an official ranking. But
me neither. Good point. I make my judgment on
there we go.
instinct.
But and we do welcome correspondence on this podcast. So if anyone else is from Plymouth and wants to submit their nomination for the best church in Plymouth, then please get in touch and we'll share that with you, and we'll get Duncan's comments on those answers. Are you feeling in a festive mood, Duncan?
Absolutely festive. You might be able to see because it's audio only if you're on the podcast, but Adam requested that we wear festive clothing, and only after I started to do the podcast did I remember that I have no festive clothing, but I do have at least a mince pie and a selection of Co-op's finest mince pies.
Yes.
That's the Co-op just around the corner.
Yeah, Co-op all butter pastry luxury mince pies.
There you go. Obviously not bought in like a 5-minute panic just before the podcast. I realised I didn't even have the food that I planned to get. Yeah.
No, but that's good. It's good to see you coming prepared. And that actually leads me to the first of the 4 questions that I'm asking all of the guests on this podcast. The first question is, what is your favourite festive food? Is it mince pies, or is that just a panic buy and your real answer is something else?
The mince pies were a total panic buy. I do actually really love mince pies, so long as they're properly made, homemade. My wife is an amazing baker, and so just stuff made by her is amazing. And my mum is also pretty good.
Do you have a rule about when mince pies can be eaten?
I mean, behind that question lies a question of your relationship to tradition, which, as I was reading earlier, and some fancy theologians, is like a proxy for your view on modernity, politics, culture, and the church, and hermeneutics all in one. So it's a small question about how you feel about when you start mince pies. I mean, I really don't mind any time in Advent is sort of okay, and it's the 20th of November, but obviously we're sort of time forwards into the future given our podcast. So for the sake of PR, absolutely fine.
We're pretending it's Advent. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But the first part of your answer started to make me panic a bit because I didn't entirely understand what you were saying. And I was worried this was becoming quite a deep podcast, talking about modernity.
Don't worry. No depths whatsoever with me. I mean, it is a hard question, though, isn't it? What is your favourite Christmas food? Because when I initially thought of the question, I thought, oh, that's easy, pigs and blankets. And then I thought a second later, I was like, no, what am I talking about? That's impossible. Pigs and blankets, mince pies, roast Christmas with all the trimmings, especially with bread sauce, stuffing, good roast potatoes, and cranberry sauce. It's that key combo with gravy, obviously, that kind of melds together into that unique miracle that is Christmas flavour. And especially when it's in a Boxing Day sandwich, my wife taught me this one. It's a highlight of Christmas is the Boxing Day sandwich. But as I thought about it a little bit more before the podcast, I realised that actually I don't just have a specific food, I also have a specific vintage of food, which was the 2018 Coron made by Becky, my wife, when we were staying at my parents' house. And I meant to get you a picture, but in my preparation I failed to get the picture. But it's a Coron, so it's kind of a twisted pastry, and it's got mincemeat and pistachios and cherries and stuff folded through it, which are kind of twisted through into a crown shape, and then topped with icing, and there's marzipan twisted through it too. And it's just the most delicious thing I've ever eaten in my life.
That does sound good. I've never heard of that.
No, I'd never heard of it either, and she's never made it again, despite pleas. But I think it took a while, and we have even more younger children since then. So time and possibilities of making these things is limited, and there's so many other baked goods to make as well around Christmas. So,
but hopefully, if she's listening to this episode, that may be
yes,
a prompt.
Yes, good point. I'll send her the link.
Where is this delicacy from? Is it?
Well, the thing with the baking we have here, she often sees a recipe and then takes it and twists it a bit. It might have been a Port Hollywood though one, or one of the Bake Off contestants might have put it in one of their recipe books, or it might have been come off on Bake Off and she added marzipan or something like that.
Okay.
I have to ask her, I'm afraid. Yeah. I think there was a recipe.
There you go. If you find the recipe, you know where to send it. Need I Say Myrrh at gmail.com. We look forward to getting that. So let's move on from food then and talk about music and your favourite non-religious Christmas song. Obviously, you're thinking a lot about carols in the run up to Christmas at St Pancras, presumably. Anyway, but forget the carols.
Like at this point, my instincts went to one, I love some carols. Two, I don't like a lot of Christmas music outside of carols. And three, if I was more learned in the ways of people on Twitter, then I would have, my favorite classical rendition of sort of Schubert's symphony composed on the birthday of His Highness the French Duke of Ferdinand the First, whose birthday happens to be around Christmas or something niche.
I like that one as well. Yeah, it's a good one. Isn't it?
Yeah. In the absence of such learning, I thought maybe the closest thing I could get to is, and this will sound awful initially, but it's got reasons behind it, is Jingle Bell Rock, the classic one.
You're going to have to do a bit of work for this one, Duncan.
Okay, so there's two reasons. One is it gives you a little insight into the profound emptiness of modern culture, that we take such a masterful piece of music and distort it, and what's the word? Taint it with Mean Girls. And as soon as it comes on, you probably can't help but think of Mean Girls if you've had the privilege of seeing such a great Christmas movie. On the other hand, that first little guitar riff, it's just like the tone that they got on that guitar, I think is perfect. It plays it, you know what it is, it's unique, and it sounds fun. Somehow, even just 4, whatever it is, beats on the guitar sounds like a perfect little, oh yeah, maybe I'd like to dance to that. So not only does it give a window into the hopelessness of some of the trends in the world we see around today, you also get the wonder that is modern culture and the beauty of a particular electric guitar tone that wouldn't exist without the modern world, and a little glimmer into the goodness that you can have, whether or not you're celebrating with all the hope of Jesus or not.
There you go. You've done a good job with justifying your answer there. That's good.
There must be others, but I can't think of them. But I think the thing is, you hear the same pop songs every year, right? Like we always have them on, like they're always around. So it's hard. It's harder for me to go on enjoying them forever.
Okay. Are you a musician? Because you were playing guitar there on the podcast, which people wouldn't be able to see on the audio.
I've been a drummer since I was like 7, and with varying degrees of practicing. And then when I was 15, I started actually practicing, and I said, wow, you actually get a lot better when you practice. And then it was a lot of fun, and then I played in some bands and stuff. So that was really fun. But then I spent the next 20 years hanging around other musicians and never knowing what a chord was. But then I started playing guitar a little bit last year, just chords, and so it was fun finally being able to actually make some music beyond rhythm.
So hopefully next year we can look forward to your own Christmas song.
My own edition of Jingle Bell Rock.
We look forward to that. That can be the theme music for season 2 of this podcast. We look forward to that.
Do you play guitar? I think you do, don't you?
No.
Oh, why do I think you play guitar?
I've no idea. Let's move on then before you make other false accusations. And I'm wondering about Christmas decorations. Your least favourite Christmas decoration?
Oh yeah, I was really struggling. Again, in my preparedness, 20 minutes before the podcast, I was racking my brains about your questions, and I thought, well, yeah, I don't have a least favourite Christmas decoration. They're all great. I mean, they're all assigned to say, celebrate the King's alive. He's been born. How could there be a least favourite? And then I remembered that last weekend we went for a little walk around the Range. You come across the Range?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
UK's answer to IKEA, amazingly full of things you might need one day, but we'll never need. And they have their Christmas decorations up, and our third, Alfie, is 3, and he loves a good set of lights. So we just thought we'd walk around the Range as Sunday afternoon entertainment. And we walked into their Christmas section to be greeted by a 5-foot tall, giant singing Santa robot. And the robot like slightly gyrates while crooning at you, probably Jingle Bell Rock or something like that, and staring deadpan past your face, and it's absolutely terrifying. It's the sort of thing I like. You can imagine a knife in its hand. It's night, you're in the range, in the dark, and the lights come on, and Santa starts singing before you get stabbed. Yeah, so horrific, and that was probably my least favorite Christmas decoration ever. While we were then going around the range, some other customers were there with us, looking at the incredible cacophony of Christmas decorations, which were all making music and sending trains around and lights flashing and Ferris wheels. It was a crazy mix of sort of excitement and horror. And we're looking at one that's like £130 for a large Ferris wheel with a small train at the bottom. And he was looking at it with his wife, and they said, no, we can't get that one because we just bought the Santa. And I was like, wow, that's... And I said, you bought the Santa? And he was like, yeah, I love it. And I was like, it's terrifying. He said, yeah, I want to put a knife in it and freak my wife out. So there's alternative uses for Christmas decorations.
So if anyone's on the lookout for a terrifying 5-foot Santa, the range is the place to go.
Absolutely. I mean, free plugs on this podcast as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll see if I can get a sponsorship deal from them to advertise their range of 5-foot Santas. That does sound terrifying. But let's move beyond the terrifying Santas to the heart of Christmas for us as Christians. Think about the nativity story, and I'm wondering, who is your favourite person in the nativity account, not including Jesus?
I assumed that was going to come, yeah, because I was like, we must presumably say you're not allowed to say Jesus. I thought of the answer I'm going to say, and then I thought, no, I can't say that because one, it's too obvious, and two, it's too like I'll be sitting there with my dog collar saying this, and they're going to think, oh, that's so predictable. But as I thought about it, I was like, well, no, but you should still say, like, be honest is probably a good policy in life, isn't it? Seeing as we want to tell the truth. So probably my favorite person after Jesus is Mary, because I mean for various reasons. One of which is I can't see it. It's in the other room. Over the last couple of years, I've been trying to pray more through the Book of Common Prayer because it's an Anglican heritage, and people say it's amazing English as well as amazing prayers, and good theology and that kind of thing. And by canon law, I'm supposed to do the daily office in some form every day, i.e. morning prayer and evening prayer, either through the BCP or through some of the modern ones, which can be very short. But because of that, I've been praying through evening prayer more often from the BCP, and that is every day saying the Magnificat as part of that. So Mary's prayer, my soul magnifies the Lord, because he's remembered the lowliness of his handmaiden, and so on and so forth. And so yeah, just thinking through that and thinking a bit more about Mary, and doing so from the Book of Common Prayer that was given actually originally to my mother when she was a schoolgirl, and she kept it all those years. And then when she found out that I was more interested in doing daily office stuff, she gave it to me. So I've been using that, and especially last year when I was saying the Magnificat more often, and then also using my mother's prayer, which she used as a young girl, and doing so while we were about to have a baby on the 16th of December last year. All those things kind of brought home to me, kind of the wonder of what Mary was doing and her courage and the unique blessing that she is, and her devotion, like her prayer being so full of biblical themes from the Old Testament, and her clearly being a person of the Word who'd loved those things, reflected on them for so long that they kind of spontaneously came out of her at the right moment. So yeah, I found all those things really inspiring and a real joy to think about and reflect on. So probably Mary at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah, that's an acceptable answer. It's good, and it's good to hear how those particular experiences came together to help you to appreciate Mary more, and to kind of understand more of what she was experiencing, and to see even more of what it meant for her to say those words that she said, my soul magnifies the Lord. Yeah, thank you, Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us on today's episode of Need I Say Myrrh. It's been good to have you, and we look forward to you doing the theme tune for season 2.
Thanks, Adam. Adam, when do we get to hear your answers?
On Christmas Eve.
Perfect. Good to know it's coming. Okay. Thank you.
It is coming.
All right.
Okay.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!